here with a brand new, different kind of live stream. And it's going to be a live stream reaction. This one's not going to have the picture-in-picture one like you're familiar with, because since this is going to be a long video I'm reacting to, I might as well just do it without the picture-in-picture thing. But judging by the title, I think you'll know what I'm reacting to, and I still will post the original video that I'm watching in the link. It's going to be my first reaction to a video from Sean Chandler. So those of you who should know, Sean Chandler is another one of my favorite YouTube movie reviewers. Definitely seems like this very chill guy in real life, and I'm always interested in hearing his opinions, of course. Like, reviewers like Sean Chandler, Cody Leach, those are another one of some of my other favorite movie reviewers. So I'm always interested in hearing their opinions, and always interested in hearing their senses of humor on Twitter and stuff. But yeah, I'm gonna be watching Sean Chandler's video, top 40 favorite movies of all time, in this live stream. And yes, guys, I know opinions will likely be different with a lot of these, but just remember, guys, this opinion and my reactions to some of these movies on this list, they'll be my opinion. So I'm not trying to bash anybody here, guys. So everybody, each their own. Everybody likes different things. We all have different opinions. So anyway, here we go. Let's get started.
Well, today is my 40th birthday. Actually, tomorrow is my 40th birthday because you guys are watching this in the future. So a few months back, someone recommended that for my 40th birthday, I make a video with my 40 favorite movies of all time. And I thought, that's a good idea. I think I'm going to do that. So today I'm going to provide my 40, that's actually 10 figures, 40 favorite movies of all time. Let's talk about it.
Can't wait to see it. There's a nice intro right there.
Hi, my name is Sean, and I love to talk about movies way too much. And today we are talking about the movies that I love the most. As we go into this is a purely subjective list. It is not my picks for the 40 best movies of all time. These are the movies that meant the most to me for entirely personal reasons. Maybe it's when I saw them, what they meant to me, how they made me fall in love with films, or they're just goofy, cheesy movies that I love to rewatch over and over again. Every time I do a video like this, someone's always like, I disagree. Well, of course you do. You're not me. We're all going to have totally different lists, and we should have totally different lists. Also, one more thing before we get started. There is a companion video to this over on my Patreon page with 10 more of my favorite movies of all time. So they get my top 50 favorite movies of all time. Join at any level, and you can unlock that video as well as hundreds of additional exclusive videos over there. And it's a nice birthday present for me if you decide to do that. With that said, let's get started. Kicking things off at number 40 is Memento. Now,
I like Memento.
First film that had a budget. Now, he did a movie before this that he basically self-financed and made with his buddies. This is his
one of the most underlooked Christopher
professional
Nolan films.
shoot, and all of his talent as a director and writer are fully on display, as it's a movie that's told in reverse order in order to put the audience in the same position as the lead character. He can't make new memories, and so it's this disorienting way of telling a story that just creates such a unique experience that matches the central narrative and matches the state of our lead character.
I have this condition. The condition is my memory. Amnesia. No. It's different from that.
It also is a movie that came out right after I graduated high school. And so right in those pivotal years where I was falling in love with film,
What's up, Mike Myers?
This movie, and Christopher Nolan has been one of my favorite directors
Yeah.
ever since.
Same for me.
Number 39, Forrest Gump.
I don't remember Forrest Gump, but I like other films from 1994 more.
Where dramas could be big, gigantic.
I prefer Shawshank Redemption
so this was
of these two.
Biggest films of 1994, even though it's basically a drama about this guy's life. And it was one of the very first times, or maybe the first time, that I saw a Best Picture winner before it won Best Picture. Like, as a 13-year-old, whatever I was when this movie came out, I guess it would have been 12 when it actually came out. Went and saw it, absolutely loved it, and then it went on to win Best Picture. And so it's just one of those movies that once again showed me that movies could be more than animation and people being shot with machine guns and big gigantic explosions, that you can tell stories that are just compelling. And rewatching this movie last year, the thing that really stuck out is Lieutenant Dan has one of the greatest character arcs of all time, and he's the side character in the movie. It's so satisfying when you see him at the end of the film. It's just smiling and standing. It's so satisfying. So this is one of these movies that I loved it when I saw it back in 1994 and still loved it when I rewatched it last year. 38, First Blood.
Yeah.
Now, this is the first Rambo movie, and because
I like
the
First
sequels
Blood.
kind of turned into these one-man army movies where Rambo won the Vietnam War by himself, they
But I still
kind
think
of
there's
became
better
a
action movies,
parody
though.
of themselves. But the
That I like
first
a little more.
movie is actually just a great thriller about a man with PTSD who's misinterpreted by this small town sheriff that leads to dire consequences. It's a movie that has messaging about how Vietnam vets were treated when they returned from the war.
Is there any law against me getting something here? Yeah, me.
It's filled with great characters, great performances. It has a lot of emotion. Plus, it has a bunch of great action. And I've said it many times before that Stallone is my favorite actor of all time. His two franchises are Rocky and Rambo, and this is easily the best of the Rambo films. 37, A Fistful of Dollars. People frequently ask me
Never
what's my
saw
favorite
it.
Western of all time. A Fistful of
Never
Dollars
saw the
is my
spaghetti western
favorite
trilogy
Western
Clint
of
Eastwood
all
did.
time. It kicks off the Man with No Name trilogy starring Clint Eastwood and from Sergio Leone, and I actually like this one more than The Good, the Bad, and the Ugly, and just the simplicity of the story. It was also my introduction to kind of Clint Eastwood and everything because of Back to the Future Part 2 and 3.
That's why I can't say
They
anything
reference
about
this
it.
movie and those ones are going, what's that movie? Well, what's that movie? I gotta check that movie out.
The reason
So
if I
checked it
don't
out,
talk
and
is
I
because
loved it.
I haven't
It's
seen a
my
certain
favorite
movie he's
Western
talking about, so I
ever since
can't really
saw it
say
way back in
anything
the day.
about the
But it's a
movie
that's
he's talking about. If I haven't seen
basically
it.
a remake of Yojimbo, the Akira Kurosawa film, just as a Western, as many Westerns of that era were remakes of Akira Kurosawa films, and this is one of them. And it made me have this long phase where I was super duper into Clint Eastwood, and as I've said like 3 times now, my favorite Western of all time. Number 36, I'm going to cheat this one, but it's A Better Tomorrow, The Killer, and
Never saw that
Boiled.
either.
Whenever I do these favorites list, I want to include as many movies as I can, so I only allow one movie from each franchise so it doesn't get dominated by some of these franchises that I love a bunch of the movies in, like Star Wars, or in the case of this one, basically I wanted my John Woo pick of his heroic bloodshed set of films that he did with Chow Yun-fat. And my favorite of the bunch is A Better Tomorrow. It was their first one that they did. And these movies just have the best action gunplay that I have ever seen. Probably the best overall film of the bunch. Probably The Killer. The one with the best gun action is Hard Boiled. And A Better Tomorrow is probably the one that resonates me on a character level a little bit more, with the journey of kind of these returning gangsters showing that they still have all of their skills and everything like that. But these are just awesome action movies that inspired The Matrix, actually inspired a whole bunch of what Hollywood did 10 years after they came out. 35, A Few Good Men, and
Also never saw that.
Since the dawn of game, a rivalry has divided men. Choose your game face.
No,
Courtroom
stupid ads.
movie of all time, and another one of these films that kind of came out right as I
One
was
of the worst
going into
parts
my
of YouTube
tween
is
years,
whenever an ad
and
interrupts a
discovering
video.
movies could be more than just entertainment, but they could have like deep themed messages, character arcs.
Agreed.
And so my mom, I think, took me to see this one in the theater, which I was probably a bit too young to see.
I need to see some of these.
And thoroughly enjoyed it, but it's also a movie that as time passed, every time I rewatch it, I think I resonate with it a little bit more, as it's the story about this lawyer that has all the talent to be a great lawyer, but has always chosen the easy path of just doing these plea deals. And then he's given this case where he can't do that, and he has to decide to actually embrace who he is. And also, Tom Cruise's character in it, his personality has a bunch of traits that are a little bit like mine. And the movie's most famous for Jack Nicholson and his performance, and you can't handle the truth, but it's a movie based off an Aaron Sorkin script, based off an Aaron Sorkin play, and so you have all the Aaron Sorkin great dialogue in there, but to me it's just a great character journey for Tom Cruise's character, as well as a great courtroom drama. Dawn of the Planet of the Apes.
Yeah, I like Dawn of the
Best
Apes.
blockbusters of this past decade.
Definitely the best
that
of the
just did a
reboot
tremendous
trilogy.
job of telling a great tragedy with conflict that feels earned, where the two factions, the humans and the apes, you understand where they're coming from, but they have this very delicate partnership.
I saw
between
this
the two of
movie
them,
in
and
theaters
one person
twice.
acting, or one character acting out of place, destroys what was being built between the
Planet of
two.
the Apes
Leading to dire
reboot trilogy was
consequences.
one of the few reboot
And
trilogies actually worth
It
a
involves
shit.
apes on horseback with machine guns battling a tank. It's a movie that
And the
manages
fact
to
we're
be able
getting
to
a
take something
fourth one is
so
stupid.
ludicrous while telling a great story with emotional stakes, drama, tragedy, and there's just something special about what Matt Reeves was able to do with this film and tell a compelling story while having ludicrous spectacle at the exact same time. 33 Mission Impossible, Fallout.
That's my favorite
Or
Mission
really
Impossible
all the Mission
movie.
Impossible movies except 2. Once again, I do some of these stand-in
That's
movies
is
for
where
an
Mission
entire franchise
Impossible
that I
should have
really appreciate
ended.
when I can't put 5 movies from a franchise.
Why couldn't that
in
movie
this
just been the
list.
ending of the
But
series?
I feel like this one of these franchises is just doing a great job of regularly reinventing itself, providing
Oh no,
incredible
Paramount's gotta
spectacle
make
and
more money,
thrills, whether through the
so we
spy
gotta have a
stuff
two-parter.
or Tom Cruise getting crazier as he gets
Like this movie gave
And
Ethan Hunt a happy
I
ending.
think Fallout
So
is
why
the
couldn't
movie
this
that maybe
movie just end the
pulls
story
everything
here?
together the best by
This would have
tying
been
back to
perfect.
events of previous films while having emotional stakes, while having physical danger stakes at the exact same time. But I mean, Ghost Protocol has one of the best sequences I have ever seen in a theater with the Dubai Tower sequence.
That's not my favorite.
This is just a great spy franchise.
This one's
that has
better.
been one of the most consistent franchises, except for 2, over the last 25 years. Next up, Spider-Man 2002.
Yeah,
Now, I've
I like
always
Spider-Man
loved
2
comic
better.
book characters, comic book
Spider-Man 2002
movies,
is good, but I think
the
Spider-Man
genre
2 is the better
started to
movie.
change around the turn of the century
I mean,
when technology
Spider-Man 1's still a
started to make it
masterpiece, but
possible
the thing
for
is,
them
it
to
just has...
truly
The CGI really
immerse
sucks,
you
though.
in these comic book worlds and do
The
these
CGI in that movie
fantastical
doesn't
things
hold up.
that prior to
That's
the
why, like,
digital
one of the
era
reasons I
CGI
like
green
Spider-Man
screen
2 better.
was very difficult to pull off.
Remember, with great power comes great responsibility.
And this movie was the first true blockbuster of that era. X-Men was a hit.
Yeah.
Blade was an
And it got
important hit.
and it got me, and
This
that's
was
the
a
movie that got me
super
introduced to Marvel in the first place.
That changed the game. And
I'd rather watch this trilogy over
this
the
incredibly
MCU
popular
stuff any
character
day.
and made it a hugely popular and great film.
trilogy
I
was
think I'm
actually
very
Spider-Man.
personal with this one. I'm pretty sure this is the first movie I saw in the theater after my dad died. Obviously, movies are a massive part of my life, and I love movies as escapism. And you think about what are some of the most painful moments you can have in your life. Obviously, losing a parent. And I even wonder if one of the reasons that I've always had a soft spot for this movie is when going through one of the hardest times of my life, this was my escape for 2 hours. To just get swept away in this Marvel version of New York, seeing this compelling story about this teenage boy that gains great powers and learning that that comes with responsibility. And,
Yeah.
I think those sorts of movies that you see at just the right time when you need that escape, it really can shape you a little bit and mean a lot to you. That got a little bit heavy. On a lighter note, number 31, While You Were Sleeping. Now, this
I never
is
saw
just
that.
a delightful rom-com from the mid-90s where the year prior, Sandra Bullock had been in the movie Speed. That was a big, gigantic hit, and she was one of the standouts. And so she kind of like got on everyone's radar. Like, is she just a one-hit wonder? Is she actually going to be around for a long time? Next year, While You Were Sleeping comes out, and just everyone absolutely falls in love with her because she's just delightful in this film, put up against Bill Pullman, and it's just one of the great rom-coms of all time. It's one of these movies that I've never met anyone that's seen it that didn't like it. It's just a charming little story about a misunderstanding that leads to this lady ending up in this family where she thinks she's in love with one brother, but maybe she's actually in love with the other brother, and the
While I
family
wait.
just accepts her with all their her
Watch this.
quirks, their quirks. It's just a delightful, charming little film. Bringing us into the top 30, Bloodsport, the very first R-rated movie I ever saw. Summer of 1989, I was at a sleepover with some of my friends'
Man.
houses, and they're like, "Hey, my parents rented Bloodsport.
Can't
Wanna
believe I've
watch
never heard of
Bloodsport?"
a
I was
lot
like,
of these.
I don't know what that is, but there's a guy doing a jump
I
kick
wonder
on
what
it,
Rambo
so
Raf
yes.
thinks of this one.
And I watched it
So
then, grossed out at the point in time where a bone snaps out of a guy's leg, but I have loved it ever since.
It looks epic, so I gotta see it. I should definitely check this one out. This looks epic.
This is maybe the movie that I've rewatched the most. Partially because I watched it a very long time ago, and it was on loop late at night on cable when I was growing up. And then partially because it's one of those movies that is just comfort food for me. Just throw this one on in the background late at night when I want to go to bed. But this is like peak Van Damme. It is cheesy 80s. It's a tournament fighter, but it's a really good cheesy 80s tournament fighter that if you're into martial arts films, this is a must-watch that just delivers Van Damme in his prime, doing his theme, fighting a whole bunch of different styles of martial artists, and just pulling on all the right hearts, tugging at all the right strings of my heart. If you're into this kind of movie, a lot of you would watch this and just think it's a cheesy disaster. I love it. 29, Unbreakable.
Yes, I love Unbreakable.
Sixth Sense is my favorite film.
Probably the last M. Night Shyamalan movie worth a shit for a while, or one of the few M. Night Shyamalan movies actually worth a shit.
Someone in their normal life realize or become something special throughout the course of the film. That to me is just always so compelling and stirring. And
Only films I like from M. Night Shyamalan are this one.
Even beyond that, it kind of tells the story of this guy that feels like
Splits.
he's never lived up to his potential. And those
Then he
are
got
sorts of
Sixth
things
Sense
that,
and
resonate
Signs,
with
so
stories like that where people discover
he's a bad director,
who
but
they
he has
are
some
and
4
finally
good
live
films
up to their
anyways.
potential. I love those types of stories, and I think
Either
this
the rest
one
of
is
his
so
movies are just
definitely a
mediocre or
slower
awful.
paced, deliberate film. But even as you move into the final twist reveals, I feel like they're earned. I think the movie works if you remove the last scene, and when you add it on there, it gives new meaning to everything that took before.
I like the
new
last
emotion.
scene.
Some people feel anticlimactic, like they want to see the next.
I thought the twist was good.
I think it's just the perfect way to have that final piece of information you learn that causes you to reinterpret everything that you experienced and adds this whole new emotion.
These are wrong, but I like the twist.
Then we have Home Alone 1.
Yes, I agree with that.
2 as well. I was the perfect age for when this movie first came out. Macaulay Culkin
Home
was
Alone
like
is tied.
6 months
Home
older
Alone
than
is
me,
tied with
and
It's
so
a
then
Wonderful
watching
Life
it,
as the best Christmas movie of all time.
I was the age of Kevin when this movie originally came out, and just remember watching this movie on loop as a child, watching Home Alone 2 on loop as a child, and now that I have kids of my own,
Both Home Alone 1 and 2 are the only Home Alone movies that matter.
Yes! We'll get to March and we'll be like, hey, can we watch Home Alone? All right, let's watch Home Alone. And then we'll get to June. They'll be like, can we watch Home Alone? All right, we can watch Home Alone. This is another one of these movies, both 1 and 2, that are some of the movies I have rewatched the absolute most in my entire life.
Yeah.
Keep the
Better.
change, you filthy animal.
And I think they work during the first 2/3.
I think it's better to only
Macaulay
watch
Culkin
this
is
on
just
Christmas,
so good, and
not
there's just something magical about the score, the
summer,
themes,
really, because
and
it's
then, of
mostly a
course, they're
Christmas
so fun when
film.
you get to the third act and all the excessive violence begins. 27, Halloween. Now, when I was growing up,
Yes.
slasher films were the horror
Halloween
genre of
is
choice.
easily
They were
the
ones
best
that were always
slasher
playing
movie.
on late night cable. That when my
Although,
mom would
when it
go
comes to
bed,
John
I'd
Carpenter films, I like the
check
Thing,
out
but I like the
Friday
Thing
the 13th
slightly
films,
better.
whatever was playing late night on cable. And I think
But I like this.
the one that really started it all, the one that influenced a generation of films that were the horror films of my childhood, was Halloween. And it's just one of those examples of like this classic, iconic director, John Carpenter, doing this genre at just the right time, casting just the right actress that you get that lightning in a bottle of this very simple story that laid the template for 1 bazillion knockoffs that would come over the next 40 years, really. And while it's been copied a zillion times, this was the best of the bunch. Then we have Galaxy Quest, a movie that's both...
Still. Another one of the... There we go. I was about to talk about Galaxy Quest for a stupid ad interrupted for Vector. It's a good serial, but I don't want to see a Vector ad when I'm watching stuff like this.
Star Trek
now at Galaxy Quest,
as well as a send-up
I need to see this
but in
movie
the
too.
Best, most sincere way possible. And then
No, guys,
it's
I wasn't
also just
born
a
the same
great
time
comedy.
some of these people I watch were born.
Never surrender. So, growing up, some of my earliest childhood memories are of watching Star Trek 4 with my family and getting freaked out by the probe when the probe shows up and running out of the room. And then my sister, mother, and I, we watched Star Trek The Next Generation during its original run. And we went to Star Trek conventions all throughout the 90s. And we didn't go to Comic Cons. We went to Star Trek conventions that are basically the exact same thing, just niched down to just Star Trek. So when Galaxy Quest came out in 1999, it was just a movie that was designed for us. As people that went to the conventions like in this movie, that followed the fandom of William Shatner and went to a Star Trek convention with William Shatner, this was just so, on so many levels, designed for us. It's a great Star Trek story. It's funny in its own right, and then it so understands the fandom and how to celebrate them while poking fun at them at the exact same time. And then when I got married, I showed it to my wife, who did not watch Star Trek prior to meeting me. Of course, did not go to Star Trek conventions, and she just watched
After
it,
William
and she thought,
Shatner won my
"That's
respect, I
just
need
a
to.
good movie."
I honestly
That's
need
just
to
a
get more into
fun
Star Trek now.
sci-fi
After
comedy that she had fun
after
with.
Shatner won
And
my
now, as
respect
she's
for
grown to
supporting
actually
Henry
like Star
Cavill.
Trek because of being married to me, likes the movie even more. It's an example.
Maybe I'll
of
do that
potentially
this
a
summer.
perfect movie. Number 25, Scream. People
Yes.
frequently ask me what is my favorite horror movie of all
I
time.
like Scream.
Scream is my favorite.
I can
horror
agree with
movie
that,
of
but
all time.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street's slightly better though.
Like scary movies. The Kevin Williamson.
I think Nightmare on Elm Street's the better Wes
slashers that
Craven
were
movie.
Self-aware,
But
and
Scream's still
commenting on
pretty
the
good.
Previous 20 years of horror films. Ever, under any circumstances, say, "I'll be right back," because you won't be back. Get another beer. You want one? Yeah, sure. I'll be right back. Those were the movies that were popular during my formative high school years, and the king of all of them was Scream. The one that started that trend was Scream.
That was actually the first
And
slasher
here we
movie
are
I ever
25
saw.
years later, and it is just as good. It's so sharp, witty, funny, while being a good slasher
First icon I ever got introduced to in
understands how to
horror.
poke fun at it, much like Galaxy Quest, knows how to poke fun at the genre while being a love letter to it at the exact same time. Everybody, and so for me, this is just means the most to me because of when it came out, but it's also great. 24 Elf.
Yeah, another one of my favorite Christmas
movie
films.
of all time. It's a little bit tough for me
And probably my
because
favorite
Home
Will
Alone
Ferrell comedy.
is my childhood. But then I think, what's the one that makes
When it comes
me
to
laugh
his non-R-rated
more?
stuff.
And it is Elf.
You did it! Congratulations!
I just think that this movie is so funny, so quotable. You disgust me. How can you live with yourself? Will Ferrell is so endearing. The film is so wholesome on so many different levels. And so it's this movie that came out
Yeah,
when I
you
was
should.
like 22 years old.
It's gold.
And so maybe I should have been in the cynical phase. But it's a movie that it's impossible to be cynical about because it's just so charming and so fun. Then we have The Wedding Singer. People frequently ask me
Well,
what's my favorite Adam Sandler film or
Haven't
what's my
seen it,
favorite
but I've heard it's
rom-com.
one of Sandler's better
The Wedding
films, so
Singer, to me, this is
I'll
just
check
a
that out
great
too.
late 90s comedy and great rom-com.
You are the worst wedding singer in the world, buddy. Well, I have a microphone and you don't. So you will listen.
So far, my favorite Sandler films are Uncut Gems for
We
drama.
have two lead
For
characters
comedy,
have
that goes to Happy
fantastic
Gilmore.
chemistry with Adam Sandler and Drew Barrymore, who went on to do several more movies together because they're just so fun on screen
One of
together.
them being 50 First Dates I have seen,
you
that I did
care about
like.
the journeys that they're on, and it picks this time period that is inherently amusing because the A's were so excessive and so over the top. They're just a fun environment to be in for a comedy like this that's kind of making fun of the time period while also celebrating it at the same time. And so for me, I just find this movie, this pair of characters to be delightful. And can rewatch this movie over and over. 22, The Lion King. Speaking of
Yes.
favorites of all time, The Lion King is my favorite animated movie of all time. I was born at just like the perfect time period.
I think it might
because
have to
the
be
Disney
mine too.
Renaissance were the Disney animated
It's my
films
favorite
of
animated Disney
childhood.
movie for
And
sure.
from The Little Mermaid through The Lion King was just such a phenomenal run of movies, and I was the
And also, The
target
Lion
audience
King, of
for
all the
all of them.
direct-to-DVD
And
Disney
peak and all
sequels,
that was
The
The
Lion King is the
a
only
film
one
that
to
has
not have any
fantastic
shitty
songs, told with
follow-ups.
kind of like this
The
elegance,
only
and
one.
it's like kind of like a remake of Hamlet and
With
Macbeth
Beauty and the
in
Beast,
its
you
own
had
way, so it has some
Belle's Magical
Shakespearean
World for their shit
tragedy in there
follow-ups.
as well.
Aladdin, you
while
have
being
Return of Jafar for
this
shit
charming little
follow-ups.
delightful
For Little
family
Mermaid, you have
film. Add to this, I have some fun
both the
memories of
follow-ups
seeing
for
a
The Little
double
Mermaid were
feature at a drive-in
shits.
movie theater.
Lion
Where
King's the
the
only
first
one
movie
that
I
actually
saw
had
on one
follow-ups
side
that
was The Lion
worked.
King, and the one I saw on the other side,
Except
the
for,
second half,
alright,
was
the remake.
True
Never
Lies.
mind.
That
We
was
had
a
the
fun
shitty
double
live-action remake
feature.
we don't talk of.
21, The Karate Kid.
Yeah, I
Now,
like The
this
Karate
is
Kid.
just a
I've
classic
only seen the first
story
one.
about
Haven't seen the
a boy in
sequels.
need of a father
But I
and
love
a
The
father
Karate
in
Kid.
need of a son, all centered around a karate tournament. It takes a premise
Well,
that
I know
is rather
Rambo
silly
Ralph and
at face
OCP seem
value
to think
about
Karate Kid 2 is
a
underrated, but
group
they hate
of
the
high
rest.
school bullies that take karate together.
Maybe I'll
The
just
bully
watch Karate Kid
and he
2.
learns karate to beat them in a karate tournament. It's a
But I'll
silly
probably...
concept.
I've only
But it
seen
plays
the
it with
original and the
such
remake.
sincerity, with
The remake
such
was
great
alright.
performances, that
This
somehow
one
it just
is still the
becomes
better
this
movie.
fantastic coming of age story.
I think I'll only watch
story
Karate Kid Part
of
2, the
people
sequels, and I think I'll
finding
just stop
family
there.
and confidence in
Probably the only
unusual
sequel I'm gonna
places.
watch.
I promise.
But I feel like Karate Kid should have just been one and done. Would have been a better idea.
And it's an endearing story that here we are 37 years later, and Cobra Kai is one of the most popular shows on streaming currently.
I haven't watched
because
Cobra
something
Kai.
about these characters, about this premise, about these themes, about adult mentors and coming of age stories resonate with people on a deep level, and this is one of these stories that's resonated with me since I was a child. Bringing us into the top 20.
Yes!
Jaws.
Jaws.
Now, this is a movie that I had not seen until I met my
By
wife.
far one of
And
Spielberg's
I've always
best
loved Steven
films.
Spielberg movies, and somehow
And the
I'd
best
never seen
shark
Jaws,
movie of
and my
all time.
wife loves shark movies, so I meet her. So, have you never seen
Jaws is
This is where you
dope.
start to realize that you found the right person to spend the rest of your life with.
One of the most
'cause she was
defining
the one that
movies of
introduced me to
cinema.
Jaws, and of course, I absolutely loved it. And it's an example of another one of these potentially perfect films.
And another film that should have never had sequels.
Where through even some of the mistakes or issues they ran onto on set with the shark led to amazing creative decisions where they don't show the shark very much, but it's a movie that slowly builds the tension. It's filled with great, compelling characters, amazing dialogue, and then a young Steven Spielberg.
Yeah, Magni, just be warned of some
at
bad
a young
sequels you
age,
might have to
had
face.
all of his skill and talent, was able to tell this amazing story about this small town being attacked by a shark that still to this day is considered one of the best movies of all time. Number 19, Braveheart.
Yeah.
Now, along with Forrest Gump, this is another
I think
one of
there's
these
better Mel
early
Gibson movies,
Best
though.
Picture winners
I still
that
think Lethal
I saw in
Weapons
the
is
theater
best.
Before it won Best Picture, it was one of those movies that introduced me to prestige, celebrated, awarded movies when I was still in middle school. Now, this one's a little bit more my traditional pace, as it is jam-packed with amazing, epic battles where people's legs are getting chopped off.
I remember, all I mostly
Aside
remember
from
was the freedom
amazing
scene.
war carnage, it just tells this compelling story. It's a fictionalized version of real life events.
I just remember the ending where he yelled freedom.
But with the story that they do tell, it's the sweeping epic that has failure, love, loss, tragedy, betrayals, people betraying people and realizing their failure. I mean, it just touches on so many big emotions throughout its runtime that it is an amazing, amazing movie. Then we have Pulp Fiction, another movie from that same time period as Forrest Gump and
Definitely
Braveheart.
Tarantino's
This
best
is from
work.
1994. I
Love
didn't see
Pulp
this
Fiction.
one in 1994, but I did remember all the buzz surrounding it. And the buzz in my household was my mom talking about, like, hey, John Travolta's in this one, and he has another dance number like he had in Saturday Night Fever. That was literally my introduction to Pulp Fiction, was my mom being excited that John Travolta was going to dance in it. But obviously, as time has passed, the movie's reputation and what I remember the movie for has changed just a little bit. And this is my personal favorite Quentin Tarantino film. And it's another one of those important movies because when I did discover it in the late 90s that it showed me a new way of seeing movies, a new way of telling stories. Obviously, if you know my channel, and just by watching this list, you can tell I like big blockbusters, spectacle, traditional types of stories with clear villains, clear heroes, clear character arcs. And then I see this movie, Pulp Fiction, that I loved, that I thought had such amazing dialogue, fascinating characters, but it broke all the rules. Everything about almost every other movie on this list, everything that makes me, that I would describe why I loved every other movie on this list, Pulp Fiction is the counterexample to all of it. And how you can make a great movie that breaks all the rules, that moves differently, treats characters differently, treats storytelling differently, but is still compelling nonetheless. 17, Predator, the
Absolutely.
Arnold Schwarzenegger, John McTiernan, late 80s.
Predator's
classic.
also great.
And to me,
I think Alien and
what's
Aliens
so
are better, though.
phenomenal about this film is that it is one of the great Arnold Schwarzenegger films. That he's great in it. But I don't think of it as an Arnold Schwarzenegger film. And that is truly an astounding thing because he's such a dominant personality that he just oozes his unique Arnold charisma and charm. But when I think about Predator, I forget sometimes that he's the star of the movie because John McTiernan is the star of the movie that just tells this compelling action movie that starts as a traditional action movie that turns into this sci-fi survival film as these macho, best at the best mercenary types slowly unravel and lose control of themselves until only the best of the best of the best is remaining to have a showdown with the Predator.
Please. Kill it.
It's just such a great action movie. It's such a great thriller, but it's also a sci-fi movie, and it's also an Arnold movie. And once again, like several other movies on this list, it's basically a perfect version of the film that it's trying to be. That will bring us to The Matrix.
Yes, I love The
This is a movie
Matrix.
that when I first saw it, I didn't immediately fall in love with it. I was like, that was cool, but...
Matrix is easily the best film of 1999.
Ripping off all those John Woo movies I've been watching because I'd recently discovered A Better Tomorrow, The Killer, and Hard Boiled. Those were huge influences on this movie. And all the martial arts, that's just all those Jet Li movies I've been watching because I was huge into Asian martial arts films at the times, especially Jackie Chan, but also Jet Li and all of his wire fu, and that's what's in The Matrix. And I was like, in the plot, it's just like a reworking of like the Terminator mythology with just some different influences. And then as time passed,
only watch Reloaded and Revolutions. Don't watch 4.
It's like taking all of my favorite
Just watch
things,
2 and 3 and that's it.
Terminator,
with the sequels.
John Woo action, Asian martial arts films, plus stuff that I'm not even all that into, like anime and stuff like that, just mashes them all together and does something wholly new while drawing from the best and having all these deep philosophical ideas and themes woven seamlessly into the story. And it's a movie that took me a while to realize how brilliant it was. And then as soon as it clicked in my mind, I was like, this thing's brilliant. Then the sequels came out, and I lost interest in The Matrix for about a decade.
Reloaded and Revolutions are underrated. Resurrections suck, but I like Reloaded and Revolutions. I think those 2 are underrated sequels.
Stuff, as I've already told you, while talking about The Matrix.
And they actually had to be made.
It's one of these movies I keep trying to
For
talk
lots of
my wife
reasons.
into letting me show it to my son. It's probably a little bit too young, but maybe with a new Matrix movie coming out this month, and with them actually showing The Matrix in theaters this month, perhaps, or actually next month, I guess, potentially I can talk my wife into letting him see it, even though he's too young. Speaking of one of my favorite movies of all time that turned into a franchise that has a 4th entry coming out in the year 2021, also Ghostbusters. So just a couple weeks back, Ghostbusters Afterlife came out. I absolutely loved it because it was such a
4th one shouldn't have
love letter to
happened.
the
All it was
fans,
just an
just
advertisement
oozing
from
with
Warner
nostalgia,
Brothers.
and I had so much Ghostbusters nostalgia. Now, I was a little bit too young to see the original film, or even the second film, in the theaters when they first came out. But the real Ghostbusters, the cartoon based off the film, dominated kiddie popular culture during my childhood. So that's one of the first animated shows I just remember watching all the time was the real Ghostbusters. And somewhere in there, of course, also watched Ghostbusters 1 and 2 all the time as a
Compared
kid.
to those
And
two, I
they're
only
just
like
some of those
Ghostbusters
movies
1.
they're the first one, not the second one.
Don't like
Just lightning in a
Ghostbusters
bottle
2.
of just a great concept. That's a
The
fun idea
the
for a
true
movie
Ghostbusters
with
2
a
is the
fantastic
2009
cast,
video game.
and then perfectly balances the comedy and entry-level spook scares and horror to make something special.
Human sacrifice, dogs and cats living together, mass hysteria.
That here we are, 37 years later.
Ghostbusters 1's
and
iconic.
people still absolutely love this movie. And when
Yeah,
this
because
new
it's
one came out,
iconic.
people are crying
Lots of reasons.
because of the nostalgia during the final act of the film. Number 14, Inception.
Absolutely.
Storytelling.
That might have to be
magnum
Nolan's
opus. Now,
best
he's done a bunch of
non-Batman
movies that meant
film.
a whole lot to me, and even more of them will appear on this list. But when it comes to just
Inception is a
blowing my
masterpiece.
freaking mind, Inception is the one that did that the most when it comes to Christopher Nolan's films, or maybe any movie ever. Of
I
just
recommend it. One of Christopher
taking
Nolan's
this
greatest
concept
films.
about dreams and just weaving this super intricate story with multiple layers to it, and multiple layers in multiple different senses, all leading up to this final moment. They can have multiple different interpretations, all of which have evidence all throughout the film as to what the final shot of the movie meant, while having great action, while having unique, distinct, interesting action, and tying into the concept of being in Dream World. I just thought it was an amazing achievement what Nolan was able to do with this movie. Number 13, Avengers
Yeah,
Infinity War,
absolutely. I mean,
Endgame,
it's
Iron
the best
Man,
of the
Guardians of the
MCU.
Galaxy, really the entire MCU. But as I said
Well,
before,
it's the best movie of the
some these big
MCU,
franchises,
but
only allow one entry
I
in my
don't think it's
favorites
better than
list because I don't
2004
want these
Spider-Man 2 when it
franchises
comes to
so
Marvel
dominate this
films
list
in
that I can't
general.
talk about
I
non-franchise
still
stuff,
think
because I
Spider-Man
do
2 is still
love
better
a lot of these
than a
big
lot of the
franchises quite a
MCU
bit.
stuff.
Infinity War is my favorite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe because it just epitomizes everything that I love.
Favorite of the Marvel Cinematic Universe, yes.
Which is the ability
Not my number one
to have
favorite
a
of
shared
Marvel is a
universe with
whole,
so many
though.
different characters, each of them having their own tone and vibe, but they
And I like
to
Infinity War slightly better than Endgame, if I'm gonna be honest. Endgame also gets the same score for me as Infinity War, but
and it's a movie that has a great villain.
I think Infinity War
Massive
was
stakes,
just still
and I
better
love
and
that
just
the
felt more
heroes
exciting.
lose at the end of it. And I think it is a movie that tells a complete story. It's about who's going to get the gauntlet, and it wasn't the good guys. It was the bad guy, and so he won. But, I mean, Guardians of the Galaxy has a very special place in my heart. It's such a unique, distinct film that's so personal. I think Iron Man, I love that it was our introduction to this world, and I think it's
Yeah,
the test of time.
Guardians of the Galaxy is good, but I think Iron Man and Winter Soldier were better
Final hours of
than
any
Guardians.
movie ever that just is so rewatchable, so enjoyable.
First
It's
Iron
the
Man
best
and
fan
Captain
service
America
ever
Winter
put to
Soldier were
film.
better movies
But
than
the MC is
Guardians.
my favorite film franchise of all time. If you know my channel, you're probably not surprised by that. And so, several MCU movies potentially could have been on this list, but I wanted to be able to talk about more things in here, so they're all crammed into
MCU
one
could be
spot.
saved for a different
That will bring
list.
us to Warrior. Whenever
Never
someone
saw it.
asks me for a movie
Can't say
recommendation,
anything about
I
it.
always recommend Warrior because it's a movie that came out right about 10 years ago that nobody saw when it first came out in the theaters. And I heard some positive buzz about a year after it came out, so I checked it out, and I just fell
Yeah,
in love.
same could be
with
said
this
for another film that
sports
came out the
movie.
same
It's
month as this
also
movie
family
called
drama,
Drive,
and it
starring Ryan
delivers
Gosling.
all of the emotion that you want from both of
When it
those
comes to a September
genres.
2011 movie, that would be
But
Drive
it's
for
an
me. I mean,
underwatched film. Everyone
nobody
that's
went and saw
seen it seems
Drive.
to really like this film.
Nobody cared
But
for
it's
it, and
underwatched.
that movie,
That's why it's a great movie to
and apparently
recommend
both
to
this
people.
and
It's a movie
Drive
that I
bombed
tried.
at the box
Now that I have a
office
platform to recommend
because nobody
movies to
cared
people, this is the movie
about
that
their
I try and get
existence,
people
which sucks
to go
because
and
I
watch.
think
In a lot of ways, it outruns
well, I haven't seen Warrior, I've
Rocky.
seen Drive.
And it just doesn't say, it takes a little while to get going. The first hour sets up all these family dynamics.
I'll be sure to check
the
this out
failures
eventually
of
when I
each
get
of
the
different
chance.
characters and all this stuff, which means when you get to the last hour, it is an hour straight of payoff, 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 dramatic payoff, until you get to the end of it, and you're just crying tears at this family and everything going on with them, and what happens in the end. And so I love this movie. And if you're looking for a movie to watch, if you haven't seen Warrior, you should go watch Warrior. Number 11, Batman Begins, as well as
I like Dark
Knight. As I
Yeah,
mentioned
well, I think The
before,
Dark Knight is better.
Inception is sort of Christopher
There's
Nolan's
better
storytelling
Batman movies than
magnum
Batman
opus that
Begins.
just
I
blew
mean,
my mind.
I like The
But
Dark Knight better.
when it
I
comes
like
to his
Batman
Batman
1989
movies,
better. I like the Batman 2022
is
better,
one of my two
and I like
favorite
Batman
comic
Returns
book
all better
characters
than Batman
of all time.
Begins.
I love comic book
Batman
movies.
Begins
I
was
love
pretty
origin
good, but
stories.
I
And
had problems with
what
Batman
he
Begins.
was
I mean,
able to do in taking this
Katie
character
Holmes
that
as
I
Rachel
love and
Dawes
telling
sucks.
a great origin story,
So I'm glad
and then a
they
great
recasted her for
follow-up
Dark
that,
Knight.
while the one has the more simple story, but
And
has that story of becoming that I love,
I feel like
and then he
just
follows it up with the Dark
Liam
Knight that has
Neeson's
a much
character's
more
been just absent throughout the
complicated
entire
story
whole
that
movie,
instead
and
of
then
drawing
just never
inspiration
appears
from
till the
other comic book
finale.
movies, draws inspiration
So it was,
from
so there's
crime
hardly
thrillers,
much of
from
a
some of the
point to his
best crime
villain.
thrillers of all time, as well as some of the best
As well as
source
the
material in the
focus
comic
on the
books.
villain seemed to be
And
focused on
that
Scarecrow,
one-two punch
and
of those two films
Bale's
is
Batman
just
voice was not that
amazing
great in this movie.
blockbuster cinema in a genre that I love.
So that's why I like the
love
4
what
Batman
Nolan was
movies I
able to
mentioned
do
better.
with those two films.
And I still like
And
Keaton better
I
as
put Batman
Batman.
Begins on this favorites
More
list
than
ahead
Bale.
because I love origin
Even though I don't
stories.
mind
If we're
Bale.
going more objective, okay, let's put the Dark Knight ahead.
Yeah.
But on just pure favorites, I love the journey of Bruce Wayne in Batman Begins. And bringing us into the top 10, Rocky as well.
Yeah, I like
IV,
Rocky.
Balboa, Creed, Rocky 2, Rocky 3, and Creed 2. Not Rocky 5, but all the other ones except Rocky 5. And I actually kind of like Rocky 5 too, but
Rocky
not
Balboa is the
favorites
true
level
Rocky
like
5.
Rocky 5. Rocky
Balboa
is my
should have been
favorite
called
movie
Rocky
character
5,
of
the actually
all
good
time. This is
version.
the quintessential sports movie because it's not a sports movie. It's a character
For me,
study.
only
It's a drama
Rocky
about
1,
a
2,
guy
3, 4,
who hasn't
Balboa,
figured him out
and Creed
himself
1 and
out
2 are
yet,
the only stuff that
who
are
hasn't
actually
taken
canon
his
for
shot
me.
in life yet, and he's given that opportunity, and through it finds the confidence to find
Don't
love,
really care for
to
Creed,
find himself.
Creed 3
And then
because I don't see a
love
point
that
for
we've
it to
been
be
able see
made,
this character now for
and I didn't
over
like Rocky
40
5
years in cinema,
because it
these
was
different
barely even a
phases of
boxing
life.
movie.
And even when you get Rocky 5, it's like, okay, that's a weird direction to take all of this. I love that we see this journey of this compelling character in all these different places. And even when you get Rocky 4, that's this ludicrous over
And while I do like Rocky 4, I think Rocky 4 is a bit overrated, to be honest.
By far the Rocky movie that I've rewatched the most times, with all of its 80s
And I think like
cheese, robots,
1, 2,
and montages,
Balboa,
it's a rewatchable film.
and 3 were
But to me,
much
I'd
better
still say the
Rocky
best
sequels
one
than
is
Rocky
the original
4.
one because it is so much. It's not about the sports, and it is about a man finding himself. Number 9, Superman the movie.
Yeah, that's still the best Superman movie.
There weren't very many comic book movies. One of my earliest memories
That'll
of going
always
to
be the
theater
best
was seeing
Superman
Batman
movie.
1989, and then on television we had the Superman movies, and that is where my love of this genre that has kind of defined my life comes from. From watching my VHS copies of Superman the movie and Superman 2, that we didn't buy them because VHS movies
The
cost
true
like
good
$90
Superman
to buy
series.
back in the 80s. No, we recorded
The
the
true
broadcast
Superman
on
original
television.
series goes
So
like
they had
this:
commercial
Superman
breaks,
the
and
movie,
there were these, like, weird
Superman 2, the
extended
Richard
with
Donner
scenes
cuts,
thrown in there that we didn't see
and
again
Superman Returns.
until, like, the DVDs came out in the zeros, and I watched them on
The
loop.
theatrical cut of Superman 2 is
Richard Donner
and 3 and 4 suck.
took this genre that people didn't really take seriously, and
Especially
treated it
for the
like
most
it
of the bad
was
ones.
the mythology of Western culture in the United States. He took it, treated it with a reverence. They brought in, of course, amazing film composer John Williams. Mario Puzo wrote the first draft of the script. They had this epic 2-part story across the 2 movies. And, yeah, a lot of it's dated now. Yeah, some of it gets campy, and the effects, of course, aren't up to today's standards. But they did something special. And they invented this genre that I love, that has in many ways defined my life, because now my career is talking about movies, and the ones that are most popular on my channel and that I love the most are the comic book movies. And it goes back to Superman the movie, and it just so much shaped who I am from a young age and what I do. Number 8, Jurassic Park.
Another
one of
great
these
Steven
movies where I feel like
Spielberg
I was
movie.
just the perfect age when this movie
Jurassic
came
Park's
out. I was
also
like 12
good.
years old when this one hit theaters, and it's just an amazing blockbuster that has incredible dinosaur effects that almost 30 years later, 28 years later, still hold up because of the blend of cutting-edge CGI with the use of practical and knowing when to use each. It still looks great. And then it was Steven Spielberg in his prime, knowing how to have these great characters having great ideas, and then when the thrills begin, how to keep you at the edge of your seat. It just combines all the elements that make for a compelling blockbuster. Part of it is also it's pulled from a great novel. The book is amazing, and the movie is a great adaptation. In each are one's great as a book, the other's great as a movie. But the music, the characters, the set pieces, I love all of it. Then we have Back to the Future. Now, I love time travel stories.
For
and
me,
this is
that's
basically
Robert
a
Zemeckis' best
perfect
movie.
time travel story. With
Back
just
to the
a
Future is
incredible,
perfect.
timeless premise of what if a high schooler went back in time and met his parents.
Back to the Future is one of my favorite trilogies of all time.
That's relatable to everyone. All of us have
Yeah, you should.
parents.
You should
All
watch
of us
all
wonder,
three of them
what
back
were
to
they like
back.
when they were my age. And that's
I
what
kind of
this
like the
movie
third film.
explores,
It's the
and
weakest,
an
yeah,
example,
but
I think, like several
I like the
people on
third
this
one.
list of basically a perfect movie that had that lightning in a bottle casting, great concept.
I didn't think
and
the
then they
third
just
one sucks.
executed it right.
I still enjoyed it,
Perfect amount of
but it
just
is my least
weirdness in
favorite
there
of the
where
trilogy.
mom falls in love with her own son. That's like right on the edge of like, ooh, without going too far. It's thrilling and exciting without needing a bunch of explosions. It's just a lightning in the bottle, perfect film. Number 6, Star Trek II: The Wrath of Khan, as well as
That is my favorite Star Trek
and
movie.
Star Trek 6, The Undiscovered Country. Might as well throw in there Star Trek 3: The Search for Spock as well. I'm a massive Star Trek fan, and they had a great run of movies during the 80s, leading into the very beginning of the 90s. The best of the bunch, I think, without question, is Star Trek 2. It's just a great continuation of the TV series.
Oh wait, Joseph, if you were talking about Jurassic Park 3 earlier when you said the third film did suck, never mind. Never mind. I thought you were talking about Back to the Future 3 for a second. Never mind. I just found out you were talking about Jurassic Park 3.
And he's haunted by the mistakes of his past, and they find a story to be able to tell all of that.
So never mind. Wrong move on my part.
I love the practical model spaceship effects in this movie. The final battle in this movie Space Battle is one of my top 3 favorite movie space battles of all time. But as I said before, Star Trek 4, I think Star Trek 3 is an underrated Star Trek film because people say that the odd number ones are bad. I think Star Trek 3 is a great follow-up to 2. Star Trek 4 is the one that people remember is the one with the whales. It's really funny as this fish out of water comedy. And then 6 is a great send-off for the original cast that just once again explores the ideas of these aging adventurers facing their retirement. But I think they just found an amazing
I'm gonna try to get
way
into
tell
Star Trek
compelling
after Will
stories with these
Shatner won my
characters
respects.
As they got older, that fit the characters at that
A few-
stage of
quite a
life,
few months ago.
acknowledged their aging, but also celebrated them as heroes for their long careers as well. In 5th place, Aliens. There's 2
Yes.
types of
Now
people
that's
in the
James
world.
Cameron's
Those that
best
think that
movie.
Aliens
Aliens
is better
by
than
far.
Alien, and those who are wrong.
And the
But who
best
am I
Alien
kidding?
movie.
Alien would also probably be in my top 40 as well if I allowed 2 movies from franchises. I love Aliens and Alien.
Yeah, but I like Aliens slightly better though.
Not to study, not to bring back,
Well,
but to wipe them out.
I got
Ripley is a
He's-
fantastic
well,
character.
he's saying
The
sorry
concept of
because,
the xenomorphs as just these vicious
I got a little surprised when he
predators
said the
that
third
kill
film did
people
suck. I thought he
in
was
these
referring to Back to the
isolated
Future
environments.
3.
Space was amazing.
And then I
My
found out he was
personal
referring to
taste,
Jurassic
I like
Park
the
3.
more
That's why I was
action-based
apologizing.
version in James Cameron's Aliens. Likewise, I enjoy having a bit more emotional weight to the Ripley character in giving her a family that's
Yeah, this should have
died
ended.
in her time away,
Yeah,
as
this
well as introducing
Aliens
the
should have
new
ended
character
this
that she's
series.
very mature
No.
towards. So it has a little bit
Then
more
we had the
complexity
bullshit
to
that
it
was
I
called
enjoy. Just
Alien
in
3.
general, I like James
That
Cameron
event's
a
one of
lot
the
more than I
worst
like the
sequel
work
cliches of all
Ridley
time.
Scott, but any way you put it,
Why
these
couldn't
are
they
2
just left it alone with
fantastic
Aliens?
A+
This was a perfect
science
send-off.
fiction films that I watch very regularly in my household and love both.
Meet for 3 small spaces. The most convenient solution.
Again with this fabric wrap. Jesse was about to talk about Empire Strikes Back.
Plays Star Wars: The Empire Strikes Back.
That is
as
the
well
best
as
Star
essentially
Wars
the
movie
entire
right there.
original Star Wars trilogy, but for me, the best of the bunch is Empire Strikes Back. That just takes everything
Without a doubt.
that worked in the first movie and takes it to the next level. The visual effects are bigger, they're better. And
Empire Strikes Back is easily the
first one is a
greatest
coming of
sci-fi
age story
sequel of
about
all
Luke.
time.
Really, his origin story in a lot of ways is in this movie, where it fully embraces the fact that he's a Force user. So this is the movie where he's training and pursuing being a Jedi and fails both in his training, fails in his choices, and then fails in his first duel with Vader. Add to that, you have the romance between Han and Leia. Yoda, of course, is a fantastic addition. You have one of the best plot twist reveals of all time. And I think the score here is even better. Of course, the original Star Wars is one of the best scores of all time. And this bestest it by having even more incredible music with the Imperial March, Yoda and the Force, and then the asteroid sequence when they're flying around and there's all these swelling notes. It's just one of the best combinations of visual effects, a thrilling experience with amazing music, but the entire original trilogy is so formative in my love for movies, so formative for who I am to this day. And I didn't know that some people didn't like Return of the Jedi until I was like 25 years old. I've always loved all three of them.
Return of the Jedi is still great.
Return of the Jedi.
Anyone who says Return of the Jedi is crap is
my favorite
foolish.
space battle in any movie of ever.
If they think that, they should really. They think some people think Return is bad. They should watch Last Jedi and Fall of Skywalker. Those movies are fucking worse than Return of the Jedi. Return of the Jedi is actually good compared to what came after.
Real quick before I give you my top 3 favorite movies of all time, remember there is a companion to this over on my Patreon page with 10 more of my favorite movies of all time, so you can see my top 50 favorite movies of all time. Join at any level and you can unlock that video as well as all the other exclusives over there. We do a weekly Q&A on Saturdays. I have over 100 edited exclusive videos over there, and you can join at any level and unlock that. In fact, you can do it, I think it's $21. You can get all the exclusives for the next year. You can join for a whole year for just $21, I think it is. So if you're interested in supporting the channel, if you're interested in more content, or if you're interested in sending me a birthday present, consider joining over on Patreon. In third place, Die Hard. Earlier in this video, I told you that Elf was my favorite Christmas movie of all time. I lied. Actually, it's Die Hard.
Die Hard is dope.
It's a perfect
That
action
is the
movie
best action
with
movie
a
of all
perfectly
time.
crafted script where everything,
Die
every
Hard
line of
still
dialogue,
holds
every
up.
little moment that happens in the first 20 minutes
Might have
has
to be.
significance and ramifications.
Actually,
for
Home
the
Alone,
rest
right?
of
Home
the
Alone I put in
movie.
third place
It
for
has a
Christmas
great
films.
hero
Die
who's
Hard I
a
put in
reluctant
second
hero.
place
He
for
doesn't know that
Christmas
he's an action
films.
hero. He's just trying to do the right
Bruce Willis,
thing.
Die
There's
Hard
a
is not a
great
Christmas
villain in
movie.
Han
Yes,
Solo,
it
who's
is.
just a perfectly
It is a
charismatic,
Christmas film.
sleazy villain who's
I'll-
actually in the midst
Look,
of committing this big,
I don't care if
gigantic
Bruce
heist.
Willis
He's
says
just
it's not a
so
Christmas film. It'll always
awesome
be
every
one.
time that he's on the screen. It's thrilling, it's exciting, it's edge of the seat. It is, of just straightforward action movies, I would say the best straightforward action movie of all time. Our runner-up, Raiders of the Lost Ark, as well
Oh,
as
yeah.
Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade.
That
And
is
I think these are
Spielberg's
two
best
fantastic
movie.
adventure
Raiders of the
films that
Lost Ark
complement
is
each other
Spielberg's best.
very nicely. And when it comes to what are the 2 best adventure films of all time, it's these 2 films. Indiana Jones is the quintessential adventure, as he's not really setting out to be a hero. He's setting out to collect these
And now it's
relics for
sadly gonna get
museum. And
a fifth
along
film
the
where
way,
Indy is so
frequently finds
old
himself having to battle off bad
to
guys
do much.
and being pulled
One about a
into being
goddaughter,
bit of a
Mary
reluctant
Sue.
hero while being totally willing to do it.
And everybody's
He's
all
not
like, Indy's not
intending
gonna
to be
die. Indy's
that
not
hero
gonna
at the
die.
same time.
Harrison
And
Ford
so
said
I
it's the
think
last time he's playing the
Indiana Jones,
character.
and
And we
The
saw
Last
Disney
Crusade
House Star Wars, so
finds
yeah.
a way
Guys,
to have
he's gonna
everything you
die.
love about Raiders of the Lost Ark while adding in a
They're just
father
lying.
into the mix,
They're
which is
just
the
clearly
perfect
lying about
dynamic
Indy
to
not
throw
dying
him
because
off
they
a little
clearly
bit.
want people to
The
go see the
banter
film.
between Sean Connery and Harrison Ford is fantastic.
I already
but
could
at the
tell
end of the
Indy's
day,
gonna
I think
die.
the best one is Raiders of the Lost
And I wouldn't
Ark.
be surprised
It
if
is
that
just
happens.
Such a good old-fashioned adventure film.
For
of
me,
this
Indiana
guy that
Jones
gets
is
in
only
over
3
his
movies.
head on this
And it should have stayed
amazing,
that way.
fantastic adventure, battling Nazis, getting dragged behind a car, and an example of how to have exciting action sequences.
But
where
King
you
of the
don't
Crystal
need a
Skull
bunch
at
of
least gave
CGI and
Indy a
bunch of
happy ending.
cartoonish
That's one
things
thing I will
happening.
say about 4.
You just tell a great story about a character that you care about, and you care. You build the stakes right. You write the script right, so you care if Indiana Jones is able to get control of a car. And when you can tell a compelling story, that becomes tense, exciting, urgent, without it needing to be like, the world, and then the whole city will blow up. No, it matters if he gets in the car. And then at the finale of the film, it's opening a box. But because they built it right, they've set everything up right, you care about what happens. And that's when you know you've made an amazing film. But coming in first place is Terminator 2.
Absolutely. I like Terminator 2,
Terminator
but I like other films better than Terminator 2,
and
but
to me, this is an
I like
example of
Aliens
how
better
to
than
do a
Terminator 2,
sequel
but
right.
Terminator
That
2 is definitely the best Terminator movie.
continues the mythology,
And like with Aliens,
continues the characters
Terminator
down the
2 should have been the
path they were
send-off
on,
to Terminator.
but just takes
If they would have made a
everything to
whole
the
bunch of
next
garbage
level
sequels
and enhances and builds upon
to it as
where
well,
the mythology gets deeper,
that
but
keep
then it
ruining the
adds
happy
this
ending of T2.
emotional current
Terminator 3
throughout
with the
entire
way that
thing
movie ended,
about
and then you
a
had Dark Fate, which pretty
Terminator
much shot John
learning what it
Connor in the
means to be
face within the
human,
opening
and Sarah
scene,
Connor, who's essentially turned into a
and then went into
Terminator,
a woke
remembering
fest.
what it means to be a human and a mother. And so it has all these emotional levels
So,
to it.
Terminator
and it's also
1,
a story
Terminator 2,
about a boy finding
Terminator
a father
Salvation,
in an unlikely place.
only Terminator movies I can actually
Terminator,
count as
of all
canon.
places.
Come with me if you want to live.
With
Add to
Salvation,
that
the director's
some of the
cut
best
anyways,
action
not the
of
theatrical.
all time, with James Cameron knowing how to build memorable, exciting sequences.
And
with
now
great
James Cameron's a
characters.
big
But of course,
fucking
the original
joke
Terminator is
to the
a
film
great
industry.
Small-scale thriller.
Towards
In a
me,
lot of ways,
well, in
it's
my
a
opinion, I
slasher
think is a
film.
complete
It's
joke
a horror
now.
film. It's an action movie. It's a time travel story. All
Don't
blended
get how the
together.
world is still gets
And
praise.
James Cameron was able to do so much with so little.
With
With
Terminator
that
2,
film,
this was back when he
created
actually
this
did films
great
worth a
world,
shit.
great set of characters. But as for what's my favorite movie of all time, it is Terminator 2, and I still remember my mom's cousin Ronnie talking my mom into letting me watch the movie when I was only 10 years old and be like, no, it's a great movie. It's actually got a lot of humor in it. And we watched it in the basement at a family reunion.
The first Terminator
And
movie
then
I
think
watched.
The next day we watched the first one at my aunt's house. And
Terminator
when
2 is
you
the
have those
first one I
movies that
saw.
you remember so distinctly the first time you watched them. 30 years later. That's when you know you've watched something that really matters to you. And I loved this movie when I first watched it as a kid, and I love it still to this day. So it comes
Yeah,
in.
9 hours means you're a shitty
Thank you
writer.
so much for tuning in for this 40th birthday
Yeah.
edition of my favorite movies with my 40 favorite films. But there's still more. If you join over on Patreon, you can get 10 more movies to see my top 50 favorite
Yeah.
films. Plus, you gain access to all the other exclusives over there, and you give me a nice birthday present.
This was a nice
Thank
video
you
to
so
watch.
much for watching, and keep talking movies too much.
Absolutely. We'll be glad to do that. Yeah, you're a little late to the party, Jai Prime, but the Star Wars prequels are actually good compared to the shit we got afterwards. But yeah, anyway, that's me checking out my first reaction to a Sean Chandler video on my channel, and once again, this guy has very great opinions, and honestly, this was surprisingly a good list. I don't think I had to get mad over any of these. Some of them I haven't seen, but a majority of them were actually movies I liked. So I was very glad to actually see a good list of movies I liked on here, and yeah, there are some movies I like better than some of the movies on this list, but I think most of these are pretty good films. A lot, and yeah. So I want to know in the comments below what you thought of this list if you've seen this video, and what your opinions are on Sean Chandler as a YouTuber in general. Until then, guys, that'll be it for this live stream. Thank y'all for watching. Like this, want to see more? Don't forget to like, subscribe to Don G. Corleone.